Millions of people take a supplement every single morning, believing it can only help and never think to mention it at a doctor's visit because it came from a health food aisle, not a pharmacy counter. But natural and harmless are not the same thing, and a handful of extremely common supplements can quietly interfere with the prescription medications sitting right next to them in the same cabinet. I'm not here to tell you supplements are bad, many are genuinely useful. I'm here to explain the why behind 4 specific ones that deserve a conversation with your doctor before you start, not after something goes wrong. Today, 4 common supplements, what they actually do inside your body, and the exact interaction each one is known for. Stay with me to number 1. It's sold as a mood support herb. It's completely legal and widely available, and it is one of the most interaction-heavy substances a person can take without realizing it. Before we start, tell me your age and where you're watching from. I read these, and they shape what I cover next. A quick note, this channel is for general education, not medical advice, and I'm not your doctor. Nothing here is a diagnosis or a prescription. Always talk with your own doctor or pharmacist before starting, stopping, or combining any supplement with your medications. Here's what almost no one explains. Supplements don't exist in a separate lane from your prescriptions. They travel through the exact same bloodstream, the exact same liver, and sometimes the exact same processing enzymes as your medications do. When 2 substances compete for the same processing pathway, one of 2 things happens. Either the medication builds up higher than intended, or it gets cleared out faster than intended and stops working as well. Neither direction is something you can feel happening in real time, which is exactly why it needs to be caught in a conversation, not guessed at afterward. Name plus frame. We start here because it's the most common supplement on this list, and the one people are least likely to think of as something needing a doctor's input. Mechanism. Calcium binds to certain medications in your stomach before they can be absorbed, essentially escorting them out of your body before they've done their job. It's especially well known for interfering with thyroid medication and with certain antibiotics, and calcium taken in high total daily amounts has also been studied for a possible association with cardiovascular calcium buildup, separate from the absorption issue. Analogy. Think of calcium in your gut like a bouncer at a door, grabbing onto certain medications and escorting them out before they get where they're going. Evidence drop. This interaction is well documented enough that thyroid medication labeling specifically instructs patients to separate the timing of calcium by several hours, and it's one of the most common medication timing conversations pharmacists have. Prescription. If you take thyroid medication or certain antibiotics, ask your pharmacist about timing. Usually taking calcium 4 hours apart from the medication resolves the issue completely. No need to stop the calcium itself. Bridge. Next is a vitamin most people assume is only good for their skin and immune system, with a very different concern once you're also on certain heart medications. Name plus frame. A standard multivitamin amount of vitamin E isn't the concern here. It's the standalone high-dose capsules people take for heart health or for skin. Mechanism. At higher doses, vitamin E has a mild blood-thinning effect of its own. Taken alongside an actual prescribed blood thinner warfarin or newer anticoagulants, or even alongside daily aspirin, the combined effect can push clotting risk lower than intended, raising bleeding risk. Analogy. Think of your blood's clotting system like brakes on a car. A prescribed blood thinner has already loosened them, intentionally under medical supervision. Adding a second, unsupervised loosening agent on top isn't additive caution, it's a compounding risk. Evidence drop. Multiple clinical studies have found an association between high-dose vitamin E supplementation and increased bleeding risk, particularly in combination with anticoagulant or antiplatelet medications, which is why cardiology guidance generally advises caution here. Prescription. If you're on any blood thinner, including daily aspirin, mention any vitamin E supplement, specifically not just I take a multivitamin, but the actual standalone dose if you're taking one. Bridge. Next is one of the most popular supplements in the country, taken by people who are often already on a heart medication for the exact same reason they started taking it. Name plus frame. Fish oil has real, well-documented cardiovascular benefits at appropriate doses, which is exactly why so many people combine it with heart medications without a second thought. Mechanism. Like vitamin E, fish oil at higher doses has a mild anti-clotting effect, On its own, for most people, that's a feature, not a bug. But combined with a prescribed blood thinner, aspirin, or certain other heart medications, the effects can stack in a way that increases bleeding risk beyond what either one alone would cause. Analogy: one gentle brake loosener is manageable. Two working at the same time on the same system is where the margin gets thin. Evidence drop. This interaction is well recognized in cardiology literature, and it's specifically why doctors often ask patients to pause high-dose fish oil supplements before any planned surgery, alongside blood thinners. Prescription. If you're on a blood thinner or aspirin therapy and also take fish oil, ask your doctor specifically what dose is appropriate for your situation. Many people can safely take both, but the dose and monitoring matter, and it shouldn't be assumed. Bridge. And now the one I asked you to stay for, because, unlike the first three, this one doesn't just add to a medication's effect, it can shut a medication down almost entirely. Name plus frame. This is the biggest one on this list, and by a wide margin, because of how broadly it interferes with medication processing across the board. Mechanism. Street John's wort ramps up the activity of a major liver enzyme system responsible for breaking down a huge number of medications. Instead of building a medication up to dangerous levels the way some interactions do, and it does the opposite. It can clear certain medications out of your system so much faster than intended that they stop working at the dose you're taking. Analogy. Think of that liver enzyme system as a factory conveyor belt. Street John's wort speeds the belt up dramatically, so medications fly through and off the end before they've had time to do their job. Evidence drop. This interaction is significant enough that it's specifically documented for blood thinners, several heart medications, many antidepressants, certain seizure medications, and oral contraceptives. It's considered one of the most clinically significant herb-drug interactions currently known, and pharmacists are specifically trained to flag it. Prescription. If you're taking Street John's wort for mood support and any prescription medication at all, this is not a mention it eventually situation. It's worth a direct call to your doctor or pharmacist before you take another dose, because the medication you rely on may not be working the way you think it is. Bridge. Every item on this list shares one thread worth naming plainly before we close. Consider a man in his early 70s, call him James, managing his heart rhythm well on a prescribed medication for over a year, who started Street John's wort during a difficult stretch on the recommendation of a friend without connecting the two. Months later, his heart rhythm medication seemed to simply stop working as well, and it took a specific question from his pharmacist, "Are you taking anything new, even something herbal?" to identify why. Stopping the supplement, under his doctor's guidance, resolved it completely. Here's why this matters together. None of these 4 supplements are inherently dangerous, and none of this means you need to stop anything today on your own. What it means is that natural was never the same question as compatible with what I'm already taking. And that second question only gets answered by actually asking it out loud. Tonight's simple plan: write down every supplement you currently take, not just your prescriptions, and bring that full list supplements included to your next doctor or pharmacist visit. That one list is how every interaction on this list gets caught before it becomes a problem. If this helped, type the number 1 inch, the comments, for the one most people have never heard carries this level of risk, and tell me which of these 4 is currently in your cabinet. Your answer might help someone else reading these comments catch it before it becomes an issue. There's a related list we haven't covered yet: common over-the-counter medications that carry the same kind of hidden interaction risk. That's the video I want you to watch next.